When was your last defining moment? When was your first one? What was that moment where you said enough? Enough. Maybe your defining moment was about your health. Maybe one day you looked in the mirror and you're like, I can't do this thing. Like, this is crazy. Like, I don't even know this person. Who is this person that's in this mirror right now? Who is this person? That's not me. I remember me from 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago. That's not me. Maybe that was your defining moment. Maybe your defining moment was a bad report from a doctor. And the doctor says, if you don't do this, blank will happen. Maybe that was your moment. Maybe you got fired from your job. And you got fired from your job. And you said, you know what? Forget it. I'm done. I'm done with corporate America. I'm done with these people, blah, 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 blah. Maybe your defining moment was at your business. Maybe your defining moment was romance. I don't know what your defining moment was. But where is that moment where, it's over? Like, you can't do that anymore. You just can't. And I don't know when that defining moment will be for you, if you've already had it or not. I don't know. But what I do know is when that moment comes, it comes like a wrecking ball to everything that was your previous identity, because that previous identity did not serve you.
I actually took time to learn about how incredible you were. Nothing would ever stop you.
All right, everyone, it's time to get it. Welcome. I appreciate all the comments, all the DMs, all the emails, the text messages. For those of you who have my number, I want to say thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for giving me your feedback. If you're on here and you've not yet joined this community, join this community. It's time to get it. We all want to elevate. Like, comment, share, be a part of what we're creating. And I love the feedback because I read everything and I love learning from you. I got this story to tell. I want you to listen up. So my ex-girlfriend and I, we're going on a date. This is, I don't know. This is a long time ago, like 20 years ago, something like that. More than 20 years ago, like 25 years ago, right? So we're going out on a date and I'm all excited and I get myself all dressed up. We go to this restaurant and I'm broke. All right? No, don't speak current. I was broke. All right? And so I'm going to this restaurant with her and I'm looking at the menu. She chose a restaurant. She's always wanted to go here. And I was in between. I don't know if you've ever been in between where you're not as right as you'd like to be financially. So we call that being in between. So she picks this restaurant and now I'm sweating because I know how much money I have, right? And so we go to this restaurant and I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'm good. She's only looking on this side of the menu. I'd already decided I'm just getting a salad because I'm not trying to look crazy. I'm on this diet, right? And she goes to the wrong side of the menu. I'm like, what's she doing? She was on the left the whole time, on the left. Waiter comes. All of a sudden, she switches to the right. What are we doing? You weren't doing that. She doesn't just go to the right. She goes to the right towards the lower part of the right. Guys, you know what this is. You know this is a problem. So now my salad is too much money. And I'm doing the calculations of what this meal's going to be. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I don't have the money. I'm sitting here with my girlfriend on this date. I don't have the money. Okay. So she's like, do you want anything? I'm like, no, I'm just, my stomach's bothering me. I felt crazy in that moment. When I tell you crazy, I felt crazy. Do you understand what I'm talking? Okay. So now I'm trying to calculate everything. I'm going through all scenarios in my mind because I'm about to get seriously humiliated at this table. And can you imagine taking somebody out and them having to reach for their credit card on the date you invited them on to because you're in between? Okay. So I said, excuse me for a second. I get on the phone and I call my best friend. Elias, shout out to you. Thank you for saving me. You probably don't remember you did this. If you watch this, thank you for saving me, All right? So my buddy, I said, look, I'm here. I need some help. I need some money. Back then, we didn't have like Zelle, Cash App, this whole thing. So there was a thing called Western Union, all right? So I'm like, hey, I need some money, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to be short like $25. He's like, really? Word? All right, yeah. He said, all right, I'm going to send you $50. All right. sends me the $50. He's in the process of sending me $50, and she's sitting there waiting for the waiter to come. When I come back to the table, I chit chat for a little bit, and then I said, "Oh, I gotta run in the car for me. I'll be back." I ran to the car, jumped in the car, and I booked it to the closest supermarket that had a Western Union. And I'm there doing one of this. Remember, no instant cash. Doing one of these things, waiting for that transfer to come. Transfer came. I came back. She's like, "Wow, what took you so long?" I was like, "I just had to do something. I just had to check something out." Later on, of course, the car was parked in a completely different place, but that's not the point. The point is, I got the money. And I was sitting there and she enjoyed her meal. I stuck with my not eating because I could not eat because I felt crazy. She got done, got the bill, paid the bill, left the restaurant, and I felt so crazy. Drove her home. That was it. I said, I'll see you. I'll give you a call a little bit later. I couldn't even be around her after that. Let me tell you why. Because I left that restaurant and I said to myself as I dropped her off, I will never be that tight again. It was a defining moment. I felt sick to my stomach, and I'm driving up the road thinking, I have a job. I'm working. This is not okay. And I started going through all these things. I was so glad my friend was there for me. And I realized that my situation imposed on him. I didn't know what he had going on financially. But here I am just hitting him up for money because I didn't have to take her out. I already knew I was like on the edge, but I promised us to go out. I could have just said, "Hey, I can't make it." That would have been the right thing to do, looking back. But I'm really trying to walk that little fine line, right? Like I can make it all work, even though it wasn't working. I felt sick. I get home and I just sit there. I'm sitting on the chair and I'm looking at myself and I'm saying to myself, this doesn't make any sense. What is going on here? This isn't right. I shouldn't be living like this. And I don't know if you've ever had a defining moment. I'm just going to talk in the area of finances for a moment. There's a lot of other areas you could talk about, but for me, that was a financial defining moment. And I felt so sick. And I said to myself, I got to do something different. I got to change. I got to grow up. Because this isn't, it says in the Bible, when I became a man, I put away childish things. I was still having a childish experience where I'm like calling my friend to come and rescue me for $50 and just all that. Look, there comes a point in time where like you just can't even look at yourself right. And that's not a problem. That's a great thing. It was a great thing. That moment happening was a great thing. So I fell onto my knees. I was praying. I remember praying that night, God help me. God help me. And I was on my knees praying. But you can't fall when you're on your knees. I was low. And I said, I just need a breakthrough. Just give me a breakthrough. Just help me out. And what's funny is that I already had the vehicle financially that was going to give me the breakthrough, but I wasn't taking it seriously. I wasn't. I was kind of piddling around with it a little bit. Here I am in this business. I have a business. I've started a business, but it's not really a business. It's more like a little side hustle. And it was a side hustle because I treated it like a side hustle. It was giving me exactly what it was supposed to give me. I made money kind of sporadically every now and then, but nothing really that was going to not have a moment like that not happen again. It's just the truth. But that night, I got on my knees and I started praying. And you know what I heard? True story. This is not even, I didn't know if I heard it, but in my ear I heard it. I heard this. I already given it to you. You haven't done anything with it. That's what I heard. Basically, punk, stop complaining. That's basically what I heard. Like, I've already given it to you. You're not doing anything with it. And now here you are begging me again for a breakthrough. I got off my knees after hearing what I thought I heard. And I came to the realization that at that point, I didn't deserve the money. I didn't deserve the money. I didn't deserve it. And here's how you know you don't. Because you haven't done enough to get it. That's what I came to. It was a hard realization. I'd love to say it was this and it was that, but the truth of it was me. That's the truth. That's the truth. And that was a hard thing to admit. It was a hard thing for me to admit that I was the reason. No one wants to take responsibility. Now, look, don't get me wrong. There's times where like the economy's bad. That's true. There are times where, you know, you have a sudden job loss situation. The industry you're in changes. That's true. I'm not talking about those situations. I'm talking about my situation. My situation was I had the vehicle financially and I wasn't taking it seriously. That was my situation. And I waited till my back was against the wall. I'm sitting whispering in the corner of this restaurant, begging my friend to send me $50 on that date. I had to get to that point for me to wake up and look and say, this is crazy. This is real crazy. And I realized at that point I didn't deserve that money because I wasn't doing anything. I could blame a whole lot of people, but at that moment I said, there's no one to blame. I just got to blame myself. It was really taking responsibility. So I got up and I began to engage my business different, began to go on a run. And every time I didn't feel like doing something, I remember sitting in that restaurant. And I remember the feeling, it wasn't even about her. We didn't even stay together. But I know for a fact that she came across my path. People come to your path to teach you something. We dated. And I believe the entire reason we dated was for me to have that moment. That's the reason why, because we aren't together now. I'm just feel like that was the reason. And when I had that moment, I knew I had it to change. Let me ask you a question. Just think about this for a second. Have you had a defining moment? You might have had more than one. I've had a few. I'll talk about others later. But that was one of the ones. That was one of the ones. See, as a man, I have pride. I have Jamaican blood in me. So I've got a healthy self-esteem. I've got pride. We're prideful. We're known as prideful people. For me, as a man, to sit there and not be able to provide something that I orchestrated, that was like that hurt more than you might realize. Some people wouldn't care. Some people just say, I don't got it. You know, I need you to take care of this night. I ain't got it. And, you know, she'd reach in her purse and pay, and that's all good. That wasn't how I saw the world. How I saw the world was just different. So that moment really disturbed me. It disturbed me. And the fact that I had to call somebody else to bail me out, that disturbed me. Now, I'm blessed and grateful, but I didn't want to have to be in that place. When was your last defining moment? When was your first one? What was that moment where you said enough? Enough. Maybe your defining moment was about your health. Maybe one day you looked in the mirror and you're like, I can't do this thing. Like, this is crazy. Like, I don't even know this person. Who is this person that's in this mirror right now? Who is this person? That's not me. I remember me from 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago. That's not me. Maybe that was your defining moment. Maybe your defining moment was a bad report from a doctor. And the doctor says, if you don't do this, blank will happen. Maybe that was your moment. Maybe you got fired from your job. And you got fired from your job. And you said, you know what? Forget it. I'm done. I'm done with corporate America. I'm done with these people, blah, 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 blah. Maybe your defining moment was at your business. Maybe your defining moment was romance. I don't know what your defining moment was. But where is that moment where it's over, like you can't do that anymore? You just can't. And I don't know when that defining moment will be for you, if you've already had it or not. I don't know. But what I do know is when that moment comes, it comes like a wrecking ball to everything that was your previous identity, because that previous identity did not serve you. Not only did it not serve you, in some ways, it punished you. You see, there's a moment when you'll be punished and you will have a choice. You'll take that punishment and say, thank you, may I have another? Some people are masochistic like that. Or you take that moment and say, that will never happen again. That's not happening again. And I have so many, man, I still have defining moments. And when they happen, for me, it's like I've got to redefine myself because that doesn't work anymore. I've got to get to another level because that doesn't work anymore. Whatever that was, it doesn't work anymore. I've got to elevate. Every one of us, we live our lives with other people. And some of our defining moments, most of them will actually come from something with somebody else, like some other experience. And we're supposed to learn from them. Now, some people don't want to learn. It's okay. But I'm talking to those of you who do want to learn. Are you elevating from the defining moment that was gifted to you so that you would have a revelation of yourself? Have you had that moment yet where you look in the mirror and you say, this is not okay. I'm not okay. This is not okay. I don't want to live like this anymore. I don't want to live in this space. I don't want to live with this person. I don't want to live with these people. I don't want to talk to these people. I don't want to do that job. Whatever it is. I don't know what it is. But what I do know is that when it happens, it will jar you so much that if you're ever going to change, it's going to come from that. That will put you on a whole other path. Fast forward. That story I just told you about, I began to work harder. I mean harder. Ate to faint mentality on my side business. I ended up leaving my full-time job that I had because I put in the work. I discovered what work really was. You know, I didn't even know my capacity to work. Pain is powerful. Pain is a powerful thing. Some people have other things, and your things are way more painful. But whatever that thing is, that pain, the word passion comes from the root of the word pain. Sometimes when I do things, like even right now, like I can feel that feeling like someone's sitting on my chest. In the area of money, that day, it was like someone was sitting on my chest. I'm breathing, but barely. It's like treading water. You could see that there's this land you're supposed to get to, but you're just treading water. You're not, you know it's there. You could see it there, but you aren't moving. You're just treading. You're not going back to where you were, but you're also not moving forward. To live and not move forward is just it's so much. It's so painful to just live and not be moving forward, having no progress. Things looking the same, if not worse. Like you literally feel like you're moving backwards. And then you get on social media and everybody's winning and everybody's happy, right? Everybody's winning and happy and they're all making millions of dollars and they're all beautiful and all this stuff. So that makes you feel even worse, right? You know what I'm talking about. You feel even worse. But it's only worse if you don't move and change. When that defining moment happens, if you solve the temporary problem, like him sending me the money, that was a temporary solution. That wasn't going to do it. If you take the defining moment and you only give it a band-aid, you get another defining moment, probably in that same area later. So if I didn't shift, I was going to have the same thing happen, different scenario, same outcome. Different scenario, same outcome. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm doing this video right now. I'm releasing this content right now because I'm hoping that everyone who hears this will take your defining moment as your definite moment. It goes from defining you to becomes the definite you. Like, I'm definitely never doing that again. I'm definitely breaking through. I'm definitely. And you know what else is interesting? When I told this story back in the day to some of the people around me, they're like, yeah, me too. And then I realized something else. Oh my God. Oh, this just hit me. Listen to this. I realized I'm in my circle. My circle doesn't think there's anything wrong with that. They're okay with that. They're okay. I realized that day my circle was okay being in lack. And it's just normal. That's what it is. One of them says, yeah, me too. Me too. Yeah, that just happened to me too. And I'm thinking, who am I? Got to change things if you want things to get better. Like Jim Rohn says, you got to get better. Want things to get better, you got to get better. Take your defining moments and make them your definite moments. Look around the people, look at the people around you. Are they okay as you are in struggle or not where you really want to be because they're so used to not being where they want to be? Got to be careful with those people if that's who you're hanging around, because they will normalize insanity and you'll normalize it too. Yeah, it's okay that none of us have anything. That's just the way it is. Just the way it is. You ain't got, I ain't got, she ain't got, nobody got. It's normal. It's not. It may be normal, but it doesn't have to be permanent. What was your last defining moment? Let me know. And what did you do to break out of it? Talked to a gentleman a few days ago, told me an incredible story. He'd been drinking for years and years and years. His wife had tried to tell him to stop for years and years and years. He just couldn't let the bottle down. Just couldn't put it down. One day, wife comes home. He's taking care of the baby, but he's been drinking. Baby's laying on his chest. He's drunk. Wife walks in. He gets startled because he's drunk. He kind of pops up. Baby falls off his chest onto the ground. Baby's okay. But he never touched a bottle another day in his life. And that was like 18 years ago, I think he said. That was his defining moment. The defining moment is a gift. God's gifted you with the defining moment. Only you can decide if it's going to be your definite moment. I hope you decide wisely.
If you actually took time to learn about how incredible you were, nothing would ever stop you. See, the definition of sight is the faculty or power of seeing.